Have you ever found that your IoT devices just don't have the range you expected? It is a common frustration when building out a home intelligence or mesh network system. Before treating 868 MHz 915 MHz LoRa antenna 5D buy as a quick buy, start with the real problem. Does it reduce a practical friction, or does it only look useful in the listing? The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. Today, we are examining an 868 MHz and 915 MHz omnidirectional antenna. Before we dive into the specs, let's talk about what actually defines a quality antenna for these projects. Do not treat this as the only answer. Compare it with similar products and look for the best balance between usefulness, price, and verified details. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. This unit is currently priced around $4, with a substantial discount applied. It is positioned as an accessible option for those experimenting with their meshtastic boards. 868 MHz 915 MHz LoRa antenna 5D buy appears as an option in the family intelligence system space. The important part is whether its role matches your actual use, not just whether the title sounds promising. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. This antenna is rated at 5 dB gain. In practical terms, this suggests a balanced compromise between signal distance and coverage area for your local IoT setup. Useful clues to review include category/context, family intelligence system, 868 MHz, 915 MHz, compatibility/use target, meshtastic LoRa board IoT, current listed price, $3.98, listed discount, 51%. If a detail is unclear, treat it as something to verify rather than a guaranteed feature. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible fact. The kit includes an SMA male connector and a U.FL cable. This is a very standard configuration, but you must double-check that your specific board uses these exact ports. Check size, compatibility, selected variant, visible material or design details, and usage conditions. These small checks often prevent the wrong purchase. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. When you receive your antenna, check the cable integrity. Thin coaxial cables like this can be delicate, so ensure there are no kinks or exposed shielding near the base. The listed price is $3.98, but final cost can change with variant, tax, promotion, stock, and shipping. Confirm the current checkout details before ordering. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. This setup is primarily for meshtastic or other low-power wide-area network devices. It is meant to replace smaller, stock antennas that often come bundled with basic IoT boards. Overall, 868 MHz 915 MHz LoRa antenna 5D buy could be worth checking if the details match your need. Review the listing carefully and compare before buying. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. While this is a budget option, it has seen hundreds of orders, suggesting it is a common choice for hobbyists. However, performance can vary based on your environment and placement. It may make sense if you are comparing options related to cable and want something practical enough to fit your routine or setup. The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. My advice is to confirm your regional frequency requirements first. Using an antenna designed for the wrong frequency band can lead to poor signal, regardless of how well made the antenna is. Before treating 868 MHz 915 MHz LoRa antenna 5D buy as a quick buy, start with the real problem. Does it reduce a practical friction, or does it only look useful in the listing? The goal is a balanced decision based on visible facts, not a forced recommendation or exaggerated claim. If you are looking to experiment with your range, this might be a practical addition to your toolkit. Check the link for the latest pricing and make sure to compare it with your board specs.